Exactly.
You're getting out of the house and you're staying away from people, and you get to see some pretty lights. You know what? Actually, at first I was mocking it, but that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, there was apparently House Beautiful. Like for others, though, hanging Christmas lights are spent so much more. You know, they're like, hey, the opportunity is, what if you all put up Christmas lights up? Then we can get in the car, drive around, look at them. That's like a fair social distancing activity.
Yeah, that's cool. I really, we've had some really cool displays down here the last couple of years where I know you guys have probably seen it on YouTube where you pull up to a house and it tells you to tune in to this radio station, and they've got like
Oh,
this.
okay.
Yeah, you can pick up the broadcast and it'll play music or maybe even reading something or talking or whatever from the house, and the lights correlate with like the music that's being played or whatever. Like, of course, I'm a metalhead and a horror movie fan, so the ones that really stuck out for me this last Christmas was the Nightmare Before Christmas theme that one house had, and they were playing the music, and there was like in the windows you could see it looked like some of the characters from the movie were singing the song and whatnot, and it was really super cool. But you just tune
Yeah.
into it on your stereo in your car, and then there was one that was Metallica, which was just awesome.
All right, enough for our starting quest. Our main quest for the day is going to be about New World.
Yay.
Because I call it gank by NPC. For those who've been following New World for a little bit, at first they were talking about it being almost solely PvP, which kind of upset the PvE folks.
Yeah.
But they decided to go more PvE, which then upset the PvP folks. They've been talking about the fact you can flag yourself PvP, kind of like WoW.
Yeah.
You can flag yourself PvP if you wanted to, and you go attack people, and yet you can still play the world and not be attacked. Well, apparently that's not going to be the NPCs, though. Clearly, will not care about your flagging, which is kind of cool. So the world itself is going to be, I call it being ganked by PvP. So Solomon, I know you had the story on your show. What were your thoughts about this?
I mainly talked about. Are you talking about the Rift system? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it's kind of like you mentioned that as an example of the Rift thing, but
I think that's two different topics.
No, the NPCs have this the corrupted breaches, okay, which is basically like this, right? But it basically spews out the NPCs can go overrun your worlds. In other words, if you're not flagged PvP, you don't have to worry about being ganked by anybody, right? And so you just gotta stay out of the mob zone. But this literally means you can be out of a mob zone and get attacked because the world's going to attack you.
Right.
I don't know. So sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I just think that because there's three, so I'm gonna call them rifts. They're called like, what are they called? Corrupted something.
Corrupted breaches, right?
Yeah, breaches. Yeah, I'm just gonna call them rifts because why not? But if you read the article, they actually list 3 different types of rifts. One that is like your typical rift from like the game MMO Rift, right? And there's another one that is really intriguing that actually spawns underground. Like it's like a collection of dark energy that's underground, and then it reaches like a threshold, and then it bursts from underneath. And I thought that one was pretty cool because what if that gathers under your settlement, under your homes, right? And then all of a sudden you're going home, and then it's being swallowed up by a bunch of spawns that are jumping out of a portal of some sort underneath the ground. So I think they did that for a variety of reasons. Or at least I'm hoping they're doing that for a variety of reasons to kind of change it up, to kind of make things interesting, so that it's not just, oh, okay, here's a circle in the middle of this in the middle of nowhere, let's go over there, kill things, come back. Oh, there's another circle in the middle of the air, let's go over there, kill things, and come back. This way I think you could really change it up and shake things up, along with the PvP aspect of the game too as well, because it would really suck if that was underneath your settlement and then you have another faction action, just waiting to capitalize on your moment of weakness, stuff like that. So my imagination is kind of playing just running a wild with it. But at the end of the day, I tend to like those type of sort of game mechanics. I also mentioned I mentioned things of like the boss timers that you see in Guild Wars 2 and in Black Desert Online. Like a certain point or a certain time within the game, like everybody would just mass crowd in a particular area to fight that giant boss. And I know that's not really a riff per se, but they act very similarly in that it really brings the community together, and you're there to really you have a common goal, and that's really fun for me. And I think that's one of the amazing things about Rift, which I think sorry.
That's fine.
Webster. And well, dang it, I lost my train of thought now.
Well, I mean, Elder Scrolls has not quite this kind of risk. They have those anchor, I gotta call them right there, the anchor chains that come down the ground, and you gotta fight the horde, so to speak, and you get some good benefits, right? Not quite. I know Rift had it first, and you're right. It was kind of fun where in these areas where all of a sudden does the mobs spawn out from there, right? Which is kind of cool. And depending on where they're located at, they get too close to an NPC town, it'll wipe the town out too. So Zio, what was your thoughts about this particular new item coming out of New World is coming in 2 months?
You know what? I actually am pretty happy with it. I do like the randomized aspect to it that, like Solomon was speaking about there, that it's not just something that's okay. It spawns in this location, this specific location every time on a timer, kind of a thing. It's very randomized, and that sounds a lot more fun to me than some static kind of event that takes place.
True.
The thing, I got to keep in mind that even though I'm way more interested in PvE, I don't mind doing some PvP on occasion when I feel up to it. I definitely will opt into it from time to time. And the thing I got to keep in mind, and I think a lot of us got to keep in mind, is this game was built from the ground up specifically with the PvP in mind. Because initially it was pretty much all PvP, and I can understand why some of the people are getting a little upset that, hey, it feels like a bait and switch almost kind of a situation, or maybe not so much that as, hey, you guys are changing the game too much. We thought this was going to be a full-on PvP experience, and now you're adding all this PvE stuff. Stop trying to please those people. We want our PvP.
That's true.
I get it, but and it's hard for me to side with them because I am one of those people that wants more PvE content. So I'm the bad guy with them. But I do sympathize with those people that are a little bit upset with all the focus on the PvE lately, or it seems like it. Although they definitely are still, there's a lot of PvP in the game. And there's a lot of fun to be had with PvP events in the game. So we'll see how it works out. But as far as these, they're not called rifts or breaches, but I get why you're calling them that.
Right.
Yeah, they do seem a lot like the rifts, and like I said, Rift specifically.
Well, what's funny is like I think all these, to me, we talked about it before, I think here, but also you talk about when I do with Colt or agree, disagree, or anything you talk about, it's like ultimately in the end, what is it going to look like? How did he actually do it? The factions, the balance, is it one side or the other side? Is it going to play toward PvP or toward PvE? Is it going to be good or bad? What's the story like? What's the graphics like? Is the combat like? All the different things play into it. I mean, a lot of the games, sometimes the games start off poorly. Star Wars Old Republic started off poorly and it's gotten better. Okay, it has gotten
true.
It went one way toward being totally story, almost like solo type of game, now to being back more guildish, right? World of Warcraft has seen this back and forth, ups and downs. Okay, Elder Scrolls Online has seen this back and forth, ups and downs. It came out great, then it had some flaws, and it's like, so I mean, ultimately, New World, how they all balance it out will be played by us in 2 months. And I think that part, it's not just the devs, right? But I think it's also how we, the players, will play the game, because ultimately the devs will have ideas on how the game should be played, but we're going to mess it all up.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen my kids play games in the past where they just would not play the game the way the devs designed it, because they're kids and they do crazy things. Back when they're younger, not adults anymore, okay? But
I mean, there's always the potential that it could be successful, and there's always the potential that it could be another Final Fantasy 14. And y'all remember when that first started.
Got to be relaunched.
They had to go
back. You don't want to jump.
No
one wants to jump in an MMO.
They completely had to rewrite it from the ground up. And then it blew up, and it's one of the most popular games in the world right now. So,
well, it is Square Enix we're talking about too, so...
True.
Well, and they've been, I mean, at the first they screwed up big time, but they've been pretty good. So moving on to a little bit, another of the main quests, ESO, since a bunch of us are playing ESO, well, maybe 2 out of 3 are. There is, like as mentioned earlier, the Jesters Festival coming up March 26th. So hey, by the way, while it is true though, it is a buy to play game of like $20 to buy the base. The subscription is free to play. So you're welcome to join us. So, anyways, on to our class quests. These are smaller MMO things. I thought it was interesting. I put these things up I saw from Solomon, but also other things. One was called Fractured, okay, a sandbox MMO testing phase coming out March 25th. I'm going to lead back to Solomon again because he put it on his show. I'm like, because he made some good comments about it. I'm going to add on to that. So, why should we play this game, Solomon?
I did? I'm just kidding. I am. Well, I personally want to dig in more into it just because it's a type of MMO that I've never really actually played. I mean, for one, it's a sandbox MMO, and there really aren't a whole lot of good ones out there. Two, it's top down like ArcAge, and three, it's again, it's like ArcAge, it's also an MMO. So, those. Those three factors themselves makes me want to try and play it just to kind of get an experience of other things, of other games that are out there in the market. Because the only MMOs that I've ever really played are third person, with your camera behind the character, running around doing stuff, your classic WoW, for example. And I also do believe that there tends to, or as the MMO market tends to grow, in my opinion, I don't think it's stagnating. I just think it's shifting. I think a lot of the player base's tastes in this type of gameplay is also changing as well. So I wouldn't necessarily say that type of gameplay and game mechanic is the future of MMOs, but there definitely seems to be a growing number of players that prefer that kind of style over your traditional, World of Warcraft type of gameplay. And so for me, it's kind of more like I don't want to be left out in the dust. I don't want to get left behind. Let's see where the industry is taking us if my predictions are correct. And so that's why if I were going to play a game that has that kind of style, I mean, it would be Lost Ark, but if that game, if that game ever comes out, but because we don't have that game and because we don't have any confirmation of that game, I believe games like Fractured is definitely top 3 on that list to play.
Yeah, I know that like Sean was in your earlier machine, Diablo 3, Diablo 4 coming out, which is a top-down type of game. It's an RPG, but it's not MMO. I mean, definition of MMO, I mean multiplayer, but it's not quite MMO, right? So this would definitely give you a more chance to play those people who love that kind of gameplay. So Jazia, what are your thoughts on this game?
It looks pretty good. I'm again with Solomon. I really am just praying for. Well, there's a lot more important things to pray over, but I would love to see Lost Ark, which is a similar style game, come over to the Americas. But if we're going to get Fractured first, or some people say we may never get Lost Ark over here, which I don't know. That's kind of hard to believe, but I'll definitely give it a try. I don't know. I can't really. All I can do is speculate on whether that's truly where the MMOs are going or not. But I definitely like that I'm seeing us trying different things. kind of doing something new, because there have been a lot of World of Warcraft clones out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it's just, it's nice to see a different, like the isometric, even just that, just changing up the camera angles and the character styles and the animation style, as well as the environments being done in different styles, it's refreshing, and it's good to see. And I just, like I said, most of those are coming out of Asia, and they don't seem to be quick to get them over here. Again, I'm just speculating, but I think it probably has to do with money, and they know that most Americans won't put up with too much of I don't want to call it gotcha mechanics, but they're more willing over there to put out a free game that has tons of stuff in the shop that you almost have to buy to play the game, to have fun. And they probably know that if it came over here to the West, that we'd be, we'll put so much money into it, and then we're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's part of the problem, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, I know that like these top-down games, I'm not big into them, but I know that other people like my family are, because like the Diablo is a good example, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been some Titan's Quest, I think it is, and other games that I know I've tried to play, but my kids have loved them more so. They are good role-playing games, but they're top-down. I mean, apparently this next testing phase for this sandbox MMO, if you're curious, is for sets to start on March 25th. So go to their website. If you want interested, go find out more. I dropped this next one in because I've been playing it every Tuesday with my friend, not Fred, just because it was a really nice article written by Massively OP about Champions Online. It's 10 years. It's the oldest running superhero game now, because Hero Heroes is not out there unless you count the Rogue server Homecoming. So I put it out there because, hey, it's a very small title. They have done Cryptic has done some good some content additions, but it's still a very low level game. And I just toss it out there for anyone who's ever interested. Every Tuesday, me and my friend, not Fred, play Champions Online. So you can join. I don't know if any one of you guys have a comment or a discussion about Champions Online.
Not really.
They're
at least I mean, I enjoy watching you and not Fred play, but I don't know.
Well, thank you.
I miss I miss the original game.
Right. I mean, my son tried playing Champions Online. He goes, no, this is not. I had Marines of Flame try Champions Online. He goes, no. I mean, and I mean, I play it because of my friend plays it. I did pay $200. Was 1/3 off for the lifetime membership. I'm tired of subbing to it, right? Because I just with my friend. I played with my friend who loved the original tabletop game Champions. And because of his internet at times not being able to be, he's unfortunately, because he's not direct line cable, he has to have a satellite Wi-Fi connection, so he has a limited bandwidth. He doesn't play other games. He loves making characters. He's got over almost 150 different types of characters. He's really good at character creation. He loves trying these things out, even though it's the same quest over and over again. So, like Alan says, sometimes Champions Online does look like a real snooze. So I just toss it out there. If anyone's ever interested in playing with us, you're welcome to play. It's free to play. Free to play. All right. So I saw this. We're gonna say goodbye to Maple Story 2.
Oh yeah.
2 years. I didn't even hardly knew you, and it's gone. Goodbye, Maple Story.
That's kind of sad but funny too.
I don't know. You guys have any comments about Maple Story after 2 years?
I can't say that I'm surprised. I've been kind of semi keeping track with its numbers, its population, and ever since launch, it just kept on decreasing. They tried everything to allure more players, but they just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I think they were even at PAX West. I think they were showing it too. If I recall,
wow.
I think so. I'm not sure. It could be another game, right? It wasn't RuneScape. I think it was practically Maple Story. So they tried. You're right. They tried. Jaziel, any comments about Maple Story 2?
You know what? I played the first one. I played Maple Story 2 probably about 2 months after it had gone, full release, and I didn't care for it. And I didn't see, at first there was a lot of hubbub about it, but then it just died, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. You could just see the numbers dropping and dropping and dropping. Am I surprised to see it go? No, not really, because I think it's been 1 foot in the grave, and the other foot is right on the edge for at least a year now. And
yeah, I've not played it.
It's finally slipped, so it's all the way invested in it. It's time to throw the dirt and the flowers in there.
All right. So now we've seen the dirt and the flowers go in. Now it's time for Solomon's notes. Solomon, what notes do you have for this week?
Let's see. Sorry, give me 1 second.
By the way, while he's looking that up, if you haven't been watching his Whiskey and RPGs show on YouTube, you should, because he does go over the articles that I would normally read myself personally from good websites and breaks it down in a nice, wonderful visual, his discussion about it. And it's a great way, if you don't have time to read the article, to listen to it. You should do it, okay? Go to the channel.
Appreciate it.
And watch it, okay?
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, okay?
We need to get him pushed up on that algorithm, and that's the only. Just watching it is not enough, guys. You need to hit the like and the subscribe. Let's get him up there so he can make some money to buy a new hat.
A new hat. Okay, there you go. That's all the reason.
I was thinking of something to say, and hat came out. I don't know why.
Well, I'm wearing a hat, so
yeah.
The only thing, it was in terms of news, it was kind of on the lighter side today, besides the one that we're going to talk about next. But the only thing I could really think of that's worth mentioning is the new dev called Mainframe, which is a Swedish company, I want to say.
Yeah. Well, it has good. Wait, so before you mentioned it, it has a really good backing. It has the Anderson. It has a crowdfunding company, an angel investor that I recognize the name from, the guy who was one of the original, I think, Mozilla Firefox creators.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned CCP. When I saw the Anderson whatever, I was like, oh, that's the guy who does all the crowdfunding, not crowdfunding, but angel investing type of things.
I think the article did say from MMORPG.com, they did say that Riot Games even chipped in too.
Yes, Riot Games did too. Yep.
Yeah, so they raised like almost 9 million. Oh goodness, I didn't even think about that. But anyways, and I think it's interesting because they're taking MMO to sort of a new-ish direction, and they're basically focusing on cloud gaming or cloud gaming MMOs, which is pretty much non-existent from what I can tell. And so they're really trying to set in on being able to experience the MMO on all devices, whether it's PC or mobile. And I think a lot of streaming services, that's their aim. But for an MMO title, that's like even crazier, because not only do you have the information sent from your client to the servers, but then they also have to implement the servers with the streaming service. And it's just like, man, that just seems like it's going to take a lot of bandwidth, and I'm pretty sure you could pull it off if you had like South Korean speeds. But yeah, I think they have a lot of hurdles, and they got a lot of logistics to sort of solve. But is it possible? Sure. Is it going to be a revolutionary new thing that's going to change the face of MMOs? I have my doubts, but you never know. Me personally, I'm interested in it, not in a sense that I'm interested in the game. I'm just more interested in the tech. But what kind of game they push out will make me want to play it more or less, depending on what kind of genre they do pick, though, admittedly.
Yeah, the biggest thing about the cloud thing was also reminding me of what Google's trying to do with Stadia, and putting the RPG or the MMORPG game on somewhere else where anyone can play it anywhere, anytime, on any platform. But the biggest thing is, the folks devs from CCP who make EVE Online, who are part of it,
Yep.
And it was Anderson Horowitz, right? So I remember seeing his name on other angel investor type stuff. Like, quite cool. So that game, it had a pedigree. That's what the question I was going to say. Pedigree. So I don't know. Did you ever hear about this, Sir Jazio? Mainframe?
I have, yeah. Just recently. I I was one of the early adopters to the Stadia, and has since been canceled.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You got the control? Oh,
I got the control. I got the controller and everything, dude.
Wow.
And actually, I didn't get that package, the full package, until about a month after it was supposed to be here. So that was fun.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was great. Really shoddy release to that.
Yeah.
I love the idea, and I do want them to continue working on it. Especially being an MMO player that has so many friends, that is the reason that they can't come play MMOs with us, is because they don't have the money to purchase a really nice gaming machine.
Yeah.
This gives them an option. Of course, they're all going to be paid services, so you're going to put your money in there anyway, but it's going to be far and away more affordable to do cloud-based gaming if there's the infrastructure available in the country that you live in and the part of the country that you live in. Because as we know, even here in North America, there's some people that live in places like we all three of us live in places where we have pretty decent internet, but we've got lots of friends that we can name off who don't. And man, it would be fantastic to see this cloud gaming thing really take off, and especially with MMOs, because I mean, I think we keep a lot of the hardware manufacturers going because we're constantly, every year, we're having an expansion coming out where it's requiring more and more out of our GPU and our CPU, and we're needing to change out the motherboard to upgrade the CPUs, and constantly like putting thousands of dollars into these silly things. And man, I gotta admit, it would sure be nice to just pay, 10, 20 bucks a month, and that's all on Google or on whatever company is running the games that we're playing, and not have to do that. And I do love the idea too that, if I had to, make another trip up north for, my daughter having surgery or doctor's appointments or whatever, that I don't have to haul my whole computer up there. I can just, I can take my tablet and play ESO on my tablet. That'd be super cool, man.
And maybe we could get Alan to play MMOs with us, because
see, that'd be great.
I mean, yeah. So Alan did have a question though, Solomon. What are you drinking today?
I'm still drinking Wild Turkey. I haven't been able to go out and get more, unfortunately.
All right. Anything else, Solomon, from Solomon Notes?
No, that's the biggest one.
That's a good point. You two are in California, where you've been told don't go out anywhere. Oh, he would never play an MMO with us at all. Well, thanks a lot, Alan. We love you too. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
All right. All right. So a side quest. Okay. Now, if you haven't been watching Solomon's Whiskey and RPGs YouTube channel, Till Jazil, he shouldn't drink. So Alan is telling you not to drink. I'm not sure why. He needs to stay healthy. Well, he understands that.
Yeah.
Dude, man. Anyway, so if you're not watching Solomon's Whiskey and RPGs YouTube channel, he had his latest episode. Really, one of the key points was the fact that Microsoft is using cloud computing to make an unbeatable raid boss. So I wanted to ask the question of the panel here. Okay, would you prefer? I mean, just learning the choreographed dance steps that raid bosses have today, or would you want a raid boss that adjusts in real time based on the strategies of the dominant players? So Jazio, what would your thoughts are about choreographed versus a raid boss that adapts to your skills and styles?
I would prefer something that adapted to my skill level, and now I don't want it to be unbeatable, but I definitely do enjoy a challenge and would love to have that kind of AI in a boss where there wasn't just a set way to go in there and kind of brainlessly kill it, like it is right now with pretty much every game. Now, there are times when it feels great to know, hey, this is stage 1 of the boss. You have to do this. You have to stand here. You have to cast this. And, stage 2, you've got these mechanics. And stage 3, you got these mechanics.
Don't stand in the fire.
Yeah, there's definitely, that's nice when you're just wanting to kind of get on the game with your friends and just kind of, veg out, so to speak. But
right.
For me, I would love to have a more dynamic fight with the boss. I think that is a fantastic idea. Now, it definitely needs to be tuned because, like it was saying, the boss, the AI that they're working on right now is unbeatable. Like it totally catches on to what you're trying to do. So there's no cheesing it like in the old days where you could just hit the B button over and over and over. There's none of that. And there's no knowing what it's going to do next. It's going to do next however you react to it.
Right.
And
right.
Man, I don't want it to be impossible. But like I said, if they can learn to figure out how to tone it down to where it's beatable, but it's difficult. It's a challenge, and it makes you think about what you're doing, and that's going to pull you into the game even more. And immersion is what makes the game fun. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, someone mentioned in his YouTube channel, reading off the article, the guy who was talking about it says, yeah, it has to be tuned down because you don't want to make it so it's so unbeatable. People just quit. Okay, I remember even during the choreograph thing, I think it was I know it's WoW. Okay, I think it was Noxramas, right? There's one where it literally was how you danced across different tiles. Okay, and even then, just timing was always not easy for me. That's for me. Okay, so even some of the choreographed steps weren't always the best and easiest thing to do. Okay, so making it harder would seem to be, I don't know. Solomon, what are your thoughts? You first broke the story. What are your thoughts about what do you want to do? Choreographed or have it be dynamic?
I think a lot of our, I wouldn't say problems, but I think you can see a noticeable difference between the difficulty of games, say, even 10 years ago and the games that we have today. And I think I welcome it. I think it will make the game a lot more fun. I think it will make things a lot more interesting. Now, when I say games fun, I'm not just talking about MMOs. I think they could implement this to any type of game, really, even Mario Brothers, right? And
potentially,
to a certain extent, to a certain extent, I think you got to find that that right balance, because you don't want to make it too hard, but then you don't want to make it too easy. Just enough of that AI to tweak things a little around, so that each time you play a boss or a game or go through a raid boss, it's memorable because you didn't expect that raid boss to do a certain thing, and you're like completely surprised, and it really stays with you when boss fights do that, in my opinion. And so I can't wait until they roll this technology out. I'm looking forward to it. The engineer did say that it was specific to the next generation consoles, which is the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't implement this into PC games as well.
Absolutely.
So,
well, it probably will. Okay, but I mean, because after all, we've seen the consoles, whereas the Xbox Series X or the PS5 sure looks like a PC. So I don't think it makes difference.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think if you ever play EVE Online, they talk about EVE Online being a very steep learning curve. Okay, and yet people love the game. It's a niche game. People love it. You have these massive battles, and it's awesome. Okay, those of us who played World of Warcraft, I mean, beating the Lich King was always a fun time. Like the Noxramas with some of the metrics, or the way you got to dance steps it around. Adding this makes it more fun, even though for me, I've always had issues with just trying to beat regular bosses. That's just me. I'm not the guy you want to talk about, okay? But for those who are trying to do world first, those who actually want the competition or the challenge, this I think will be really cool. And guess what? It's actually, to me, when you first broke it, Solomon, what got to me about it was the fact that this is the next evolution. Why not? I mean, I've chatted about this with Colt about agree disagree about AI never becoming conscious,
I
never
remember
becoming
that.
like a human being. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You can make AI smarter and smarter to be adaptable like this to your challenges. I mean, I've seen it in Elder Scrolls Online where I'm playing against the characters, right? And at times, all of a sudden, they will jump over me. Okay, I'm like, what? Because they know I'm in front of them, and they know that I'm going to go behind me to try to attack me from the behind. So we've already seen kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a cool idea, and we'll see how it plays out.
Hey, real quick, I have a Scottish viewer here that says, "Tell
Scottish
him Alba Brath." I don't know something. They just noticed that you're Scottish. I said you're 70% Scottish heritage.
Right.
Wait. So they're saying Judge's Scottish. They don't give me any credit for being Scottish.
Wait, you're Scottish too?
Well, probably like 1/4 or 1/8, right? I mean, my last name technically is Scottish. Okay,
it's true.
Whatever. I don't care. I'm a mutt.
Know.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know. So basically,
I didn't know there was a Scottish look. Jaziel has a Scottish look.
No. I think they saw his icon and they noticed the.
Is that
okay. Good for you. Hey, well done. That was great. I didn't catch it.
They're like, "Oh yeah, is your friend Scottish?" He's like, "Yeah, he's like 70%, according to his DNA test." And yeah.
So. Well, I mean, I knew that already. My family,
or the St. Andrew's Cross, rather. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my family, we've kept really good records, way back. Like I have my ancestors traced back to the mid 1600s at this point. So
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow.
All right. So earlier, Alan was like the min max aspect of RPGs just ruins it for him for playing MMOs. Alan's also saying Ken now is always trying to tank and spank, trying to steal credit he doesn't deserve.
Oh, that's not nice.
I wasn't trying to steal. I was just curious. When my daughter said, when she first met her husband, okay, going to school, and she met this guy, she goes, I could tell he's a Christian. I go, what do you mean? He has an aura about him. I'm like, what? I was like, wait, because mind you, she wasn't a Christian at the time, and I'm a Christian. I go, do I have an aura about me? I'm just curiosity because I didn't think that, right? So I'm like, wait a minute. So he looks Scottish. I don't look Scottish. Okay, fine. I'm not as much as he is. Okay, so yeah. Boy, sorry. What do I care? Hey, we do have a Sir Jaziel mug. Okay,
that you do. I think you're the first one to get yours too.
Yes, I am, Alan. I have some Scottish. My last name is technically Scottish. Okay, so whatever. All right, that was great for our side quest. Now for our escorts quest. Okay. So it boils down to something that popped in my mind, right? Because I've been playing MMOs for a while, and there are certain regions of MMOs I just love just hanging out in. They're just beautiful. So I thought, if you could take a region or an area in an MMO into the real world and to live there, where would you want to build your house? Of course, mind you, it has to have internet service, okay? But of all the MMOs you played, okay, what area of MMO land, region, area, zone, whatever it is, would you want to be like, yes, I want that in the real world. I'll build a house there with the internet. Solomon, what do you think?
Dang, I didn't really think about that.
Right, so Jaziel, what do you think?
I mean, I would rather. Oh, I don't know, because there's some areas in World of Warcraft, but
Nagran comes to mind.
Yeah, and Howling Fjord and
that sounds brutal.
Yeah,
Midgard in Darkest of Camelot, the snow in Midgard.
Right.
Even some places in Final Fantasy 14 that are just glorious looking, the snow, but I don't want it to snow all the year round.
I mean, as far as like I'm kind of unprepared because I did skip over your notes just before we started this, and for some reason I didn't see that part, or I would have picked something more Now, if we were going for a game, I mean, I'd probably say Elder Scrolls Online or Guild Wars 2 have the most beautiful landscapes.
Yeah, I could see that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them have a wide range, everything from desert to snow, mountains, and large, beautiful locks or lakes. Sorry, there goes the Scottish in me.
The locks.
They cover a wide range, and they're so beautiful. There's some really breathtakingly beautiful areas in both of those games that I absolutely, and like I said, Howling Fjord and that's in Northrend for those who haven't played and want to look it up. And World of Warcraft, I've always, of course, the music also plays a part in it, but it's just a beautiful mostly wooded area, and with the mountains. And man, I love mountains and I love forests, and it's right by, surrounded by, well, not surrounded completely, but it's got lots of water around it and everything. So it'd be perfect for me, I think. I love green, which is weird because I live in Southern California where we don't have anything green other than, well, we won't talk about that.
No wonder. It has bagpipes in it.
It does.
Found YouTube. The Howling Fjord, Wrath of the Lich King music.
It does.
No wonder. Okay, yeah. Solomon, you've had some time now, I think. What do you think?
It'd have to, and you're probably not gonna like this answer, but it would be anywhere.
It's your answer. I like it or not. It's your answer, okay?
I'm gonna mention the huge meme within the show.
Okay.
Hello Kitty. No.
Wow.
Island Adventure.
I could see that.
No, not Hello Kitty. The other meme, Star Citizen.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Will you guys stop bringing that up? That's hurting my heart.
Have there actually been a world shown? I mean, what world? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What area of Star Citizen would you think would be a good place to live?
Well, not in any particular place as of yet, but if you actually play the alpha, there's a number of planets that you could actually land on, and they're procedural what do you call
precision generated, right? You're right.
Yeah, world, especially the ones where they have vast urban areas. It looks super cool. And Star Citizen, one of the selling points of Star Citizen is it's just gorgeous graphics, which I will attest to. Even in its alpha build, it looks gorgeous. And just flying around space to different planets, whether it be a sprawling urban area, an ice giant, or desert areas, like it just looks all beautiful. And fortunately within the game you could you have like these ships that are like portable settlement creating things, whatever, like similar to, I guess, the camp system they have in Fallout 4, but it's a giant ship this time. And you could use that and go around and create your own housing with on different planets and stuff. And I think that's super cool. And that's what the question kind of reminded me.
I'll give you that. You got a good point. I mean, you reminded me of the fact that SWTOR had Alderaan, and it was a beautiful planet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had a range of different biomes there too. You're right.
That's true.
I was thinking region, but that's a good point. Planets, especially some of the games are more planet-wise. That's a good point. And Star Citizen is very beautiful. I wonder when it would ever come out to play. But yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if anybody else in chat here. Alan doesn't play MMO, so what's he going to tell us? He's going to tell us it should be a place that reminds him of where he's currently. No, he's not. His AQI is terrible. Air quality next there is terrible. Anyway, so thank you so much. I was curious. It was one of those things where I enjoy going, hanging out. So many places beautiful. Like right now, playing Elder Scrolls Online. The graphics is beautiful. Playing Destiny 2 with my daughter and son-in-law, who are the game industry, who are artists, and just enjoying what Mars looks like was great. Okay, so it was like Mercury, and it was just fun. Okay, so yeah, I was curious. Okay, hey, thanks Harpstar for the follow. All right, for though we're near the end of the show, a reminder the fact that we are going to be playing New World, all three of us. Okay, let my mouse go. So I do have this launch party. We are planning on doing a whiskey MMOs and RPG. Whiskey MMOs and more, based on the Whiskey and RPGs brand. Launch party on May 26th. Right now, I'm tentatively saying 9 p.m. Pacific time because it talks about being midnight when being released. So I know it's 3 hours. The time and date and place and all that kind of stuff is up in the air. We'll gotta see when Amazon really does this. But we want to hang out with you guys. We want to hang out together. There is a guild being formed. Our faction is crud. It's my notes here. Okay, what was the faction again? We did. It was going to be Covenant. Okay, so yeah, join us for that. We want to play with you, play with our community, play because we like to play it. If you all, by the way, want to play Elder Scrolls Online, myself and Jaziel have been playing that a lot. So if you want to do that, give us a holler, and we'll add you to our team. Gene Dark is the guild leader for this. Great bunch of people there. We had a blast here at night doing way shrine hopping. So if you want to join us for Elder Scrolls Online, do that. If you want to play World of Warcraft, if Godfuzz is still here, then talk to Godfuzz because he still is playing that and loving it. So hang out with him. Solomon, what MMOs have you been playing recently that we should shout out to?
New MMOs or?
No, you're playing Black Desert Online, so I should say that. Shout out to that, right? If you want to go fishing.
Well, I mean, like I said, they're doing they're wrapping up their 4th anniversary event. So you have until June to get your tri level. So when I say tri, there's different levels. There's Pri, Duo, Tri, Tet, and Pen. And Tri being, the middle grade, obviously of the 5. But for me personally, as I said before, it took me almost a year playing semi-casually to get all my gear to tri level. And Black Desert is giving you that for doing these little quests that will probably take you like 2 or 3 days to do, if you're starting from scratch, right?
Well, you also mentioned there's a wildlife charity drive too, right? Coming out.
Oh yeah, right. So what's really cool about this charity event is that you get to spend in-game silver to purchase these items in the game, and Pearl Abyss will directly transfer that into USD or US whatever currency that they're using, and donate whatever amount that the players put in within the game, and donate the equivalent amount to the world wildlife something. I forgot the charity's name, unfortunately. So I think it's a good way to donate for a good cause without having to spend any of your money, and have Pearl Abyss spend it for you. So
all right, so Butters Online. So any other MMOs you're playing?
Just Star Wars: The Old Republic, here and there sometimes. I installed Path of Exiles a few days ago. Sean. I want to try and get into that. Other than that, maybe I'll get into Fracture too. Like I said, it's definitely a survival game that's different, very different, very typical MMO and things of that nature. But until then, honestly, I think the only MMO or only online game that I'm really interested in playing is probably Blue Protocol. Obviously Star Citizen, as I mentioned before, but who knows when that will come out. And
Star Citizen, Blue Protocol. You're playing also BDO, and what was that one? Pop Zero one you mentioned? That's the one?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Popular. If I could get a free key though, assuming I could get a free key, then I'll play it. But if not, then I'll just have to wait and see.
So what was the other one you mentioned?
Fractured.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Fractured. Okay. So, and where can we find you at, Solomon?
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you. It's on YouTube. Just look up Whiskey and RPGs. You can also find me on Solomon_SK on Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. But mainly Whiskey and RPGs on YouTube. That's my bread and butter right now.
All right, so Jazio, what MMOs are you playing, and where can we find you at?
Right now, it's only Elder Scrolls Online. I got rid of my subscription for World of Warcraft for the moment. Probably won't come back until Shadowlands is released. And I'm even debating that because we've got New World coming out in a couple months, and depend on how cool that game is.
Right.
But you can find me at Sir Jaziel on pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, of course. And it looks like I will probably be adding a couple more days to my stream schedule due to the fact that, well, we're stuck at home anyway here in California.
The great sheltering. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll be adding a couple of days here and there when I'm not helping my kids out with homework and whatnot, because I did send home some huge packets of homework for my kids.
Wow.
That's been really fun. All that Common Core math. Oh my goodness.
Common Core? We still have. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's getting into political territory.
It's California. Okay,
it's California.
Oh goodness.
I don't understand it, because when you add two numbers together, you just add the two numbers together. I don't understand why you've got to do all this weird stuff with it. But
I know what video you're talking about. I saw that too.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really, really weird. It doesn't make any sense to me why we have to teach them a different way to add two numbers together.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can find me, like I said, pretty much the welcome to the family.
All right, so we'll have to wait for the Masters Medal to come back on the podcast, right? So you can, if you want to, already there now, you can see old episodes, old seasons. You can do it there, right? Listen to it, have fun.
There's lots of old episodes, not all of them, but the last season and part of the season prior to that. It's available on iTunes and Google Play and all over the place.
Yep. Whatever you find your podcast at, you can find it there. Okay. I found it on mine.
Yep.
So myself, obviously, personally, is the fact that you can find me here. You're watching my channel, but I'm also part of an organization called God Mode Activated, where a bunch of Christians and non-Christians get together. We are gamers. And our whole sole focus is obviously trying to spread the gospel, sharing the love that God has for us with other people. We do that for all avenues and all ways, right? And so we're doing it as gamers, reaching out to the gaming community, like the folks from Korn, reaching out to the music community, right? We're doing this, right? Having fun, enjoying ourselves, and doing this. If you want to see some more content, just go to God Mode Activated. We have some other stuff doing, like Pastors After Dark. Agree, disagree, and other things. So yeah, thanks so much for being here. So